always awesome, especially with 13 teams in the conference, to have everybody get to say what they want to say about their team and about their guys, because it's a little bit of a political gamesmanship that's always going on during that part. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's so much fun because it's important. It's important to the kids. It's important to the coaches. It's important to the program. Yet there's an interplay in it that's just like, really? Come on. Anyway, all right. I guess I'll start off with an opening statement. I knew in August that we were in trouble when we lost Mario and Tyson's foot had not healed. We were going to be shorthanded a little bit in the kicking game, and we proved it when we kicked off against Portland State after we went the length of the field against arguably the best defense in the conference, with exceptions. Apologies to Weber State, who's finished statistically first, and then kicked off, and they ran the kickoff back for a touchdown. It exposed so many issues that were latent in our program that we were not going to solve. And I think we did a great job as a coaching staff of not allowing our guys to implode after 52-0 and 80-8. I mean, that's really something. The only other coaching staff that could say that was Northern Arizona, who lost 77-13 to Arizona and then came back and played for the conference title. So I'm pretty proud of my coaches. I'm extremely proud of our seniors, because at any point in the season after Portland State, we could have ate ourselves in a carnivorous way. And I'm just real proud of a great leadership by a great group of seniors who see the greater good, the greater mission of the inside the program and what the program's about in terms of being academic, being social. I wish we could have played better in gamesmanship, especially at home. I was especially proud of the fact that when we played Montana, we fought through to the final play. And had that final play been successful, maybe we'd be sitting here 5-6 and have a nice conference record and be feeling good about ourselves. Instead, we're 2-9 and in a tailspin. Part of our tailspin, obviously, can be arrested by improved play in some certain areas, particularly in our kicking game, where Zach Johnson had to beat both our punter and our kicker and our kickoff guy. And at quarterback, where now we have experience with two guys. Yet we're going to look at a long off season because we've lost Brian Finney-Onganofo now for the season next year, because his surgery that will occur in January now will not allow him to play next year. So we've lost our starting left tackle for next year already. And that's a huge loss. Tanner is pretty wrecked. He got wrecked on Saturday pretty bad. And his availability for spring football is pretty much in doubt right now. We will just have to wait and see what that development means to us. The one thing I enjoy about Tanner is that he has shown considerable strides forward as being our quarterback. And even in the Weber State game, you could see in those first flashes of those plays, we dropped a pass. We didn't get lined up correctly. We failed Tanner, and we missed a block, and he got whacked. In the series before, he actually got hurt out of the game, and we were still present because he was really going to be that dynamic player at quarterback. So I'm proud of the development we've shown now at quarterback, and I'm excited to watch Tanner be our starting quarterback next fall. So here we go. Questions?
Before the season, were you expecting to go with Tanner for in the future?
No, I had no idea because Michael hadn't practiced for us yet, let alone play for us. So I have no idea. Now I have an idea of who the guy at quarterback should be, and Michael can still continue to develop and get his opportunity when his opportunity comes crawling.
Why is Tanner the future?
He's a little quicker. He's got a quicker release. He's a little more mobile, and he has. They both have nice, strong arms, but his thinking's just a little bit ahead of Michael's right now.
Obviously, you can do things not playing, but does it make you nervous a little bit that he might be questionable?
Never beaten anybody yet in spring practice. This should be 100% healthy by the time we get to August. If you want to talk about just general overall failure, when you look at the strength of what our program was and what it was not in the fall, we went into the fall camp with 6 senior defensive backs, 3 at safety and 3 at corner, and we never played like it. And I know those kids tried, and I know the 2 guys coached them. They tried awfully hard, but the back end of our defense is void of performance. Void. And that it showed up in kicking game, it showed up in second down and third down and longs when we couldn't hold the fort. But our front seven, I felt like, played outstanding on defense, especially Tyler Cooter in our defensive line and Hayden Stout at linebacker. Wow. And our offensive line was never the same band. You know, Journey hasn't been very good since they lost their lead singer. And when we keep moving the band around, it just doesn't sound the same. You wouldn't go to a Guns N' Roses concert without Slash, really, would you? I mean, really, would you? So the same thing is true of anything. To be good in this conference, you have to be lucky. By I mean, you can't get banged up. And then you have to be able to take advantage of what your strengths are. And for us, that literally was going to be an offensive line and a running back core that might be able to push them off the ball. But when our offensive line got chipped up, all of a sudden we couldn't push them off the ball. And Xavier Finney's yards evaporated down to 800. And he just finished one of the greatest careers in the history of any Idaho State University football player, yet he couldn't do it by himself. So it's a measure of the band, keeping the band together on offense, playing better at quarterback. On defense, we must get better in the back end, and we must replace an outstanding senior defensive lineman in Tyler Cooter.
How are you going to, or what are going to be the key ways to fix the special teams?
Well, first of all, the guy who was supposed to be our punter is now our punter. Next time we play, Tommy Jewell's going to roll out as our starting punter. He's a 3-year ex-quarterback from Highland High School who has all the tangibles, not intangibles, all the tangibles that we want from a role punter. He can punt it, he can thump it, he can throw it, he can run it. He can play wide receiver. He can do so many things. So when we go to fourth down next year, we don't have, just a kicker or a punter playing the punter position. Sean Cheney was supposed to be our punter, and then he blew his Achilles heel during the summer working out. And I hope that he can be the backup punter next year and maybe be the featured guy on kickoff because he's 6'2", about 200 pounds. And so his longer, bigger body would allow him to loft kick more kicks into the end zone, which Zachary could not do. And when Zach got whacked at UNLV, he's still not healthy. And he just did a yeoman's job of handling everything that we asked him to do in a season in which injuries became really a focal point of how inept we became.
And then kick coverage, is that just going to be experience?
Kick coverage is a whole different story. That's an entire cadre problem. It's a coaching problem. I think we've addressed the coaching part by giving David Fia the responsibility of our kick coverage and kick return units, and we'll do a lot of drill work in the spring. The underplay of our backup linebackers and backup safeties was evident every single time we kicked off. On Saturday, we kicked off against Weber, they got the ball in the 48. We punted, they got the ball in the 48. We turned the ball over, they got the ball in the 48. So our kick coverage units were devoid of performance. Not one performer on our kick coverage and kick return units that you would stand up and say, oh, that reminds me of the way you guys played in 2014. In fact, our underplay on kick teams was more devastating to us than our less than stellar play at quarterback. Our kick teams were more brutal to us than any other facet in our program in terms of game day stuff. And of course, that's my responsibility. I'm concerned that our young linebackers and young safeties aren't able to make plays in kick game, and it does not bode well for our future as a program unless those guys can find gamesmanship and be able to make tackles and plays in kick game.
Sanders didn't live up to those expectations beforehand.
No, Michael did not have any expectation. He hadn't practiced for us or played for us. I mean, that's literally, I didn't know what he was going to be and what he was going to be capable of. I think he's still very good. I think he can be an excellent quarterback. I think Tanner can be an outstanding quarterback. So I did have really, with Michael's expectations, he was given the job. Why? Literally, because he wasn't a freshman. And I said that over and over again. So it wasn't that I had expectations of Michael. It's just I was fearful of a freshman, and it proved itself right. Tanner played terrible early. He threw what we call vulgar interceptions, right and left and right whenever he got a chance to play. I mean, he threw one against UNLV that we're still wondering where the heck he was thinking. But he's a freshman, so when your kid goes out to play in the sandbox by themselves for the first time, you're not surprised when they eat sand. And that's what was happening to us, our youth at quarterback. We ate a little sand early.
Do you think Sanders regressed from what you saw him play in junior college?
No, he continued to play. Remember, he's only a 14 graduate from high school. Our last quarterback graduated in 2009 when he played at 14. So he's just still a young kid, literally himself. He was just a year older than Tanner. Actually, those guys are actually both in the same class. But Michael had played in college football, and Tanner had not. So I'm excited to have both of them back. I'm excited what both of them can mean. What a game experience we have now at quarterback. There's no replacement for having game experience. Nothing. No simulation we can make during practice will make it feel like that.
Do you like that Tanner's more mobile and he can get out of the pocket and kind of scramble for a couple yards?
No, because we've called one running play for a quarterback here, other than quarterback sneak in 5 years. And what did it get us? A concussion, a AC sprain, a torn rotator cuff, and a dislocated rib on the quarterback draw on Saturday. All in one play. On the only running play we've called. We haven't called quarterback sneak, option, pass run option, no, nothing. We called one play in 5 years, and the result is literally a medical laundry list. Wow. So I just told our staff this morning when I said, hey, we are not ever going to run our quarterback again except on quarterback sneak.
Well, I don't mean like running a play for him, but able to extend the play and get positive yards.
I don't like it when quarterbacks extend the plays. That means they miss their primary read. We call them run around suit. Don't like it. Don't like it. Don't like it. Don't like it. I want a quarterback who will catch that throw, spit it out, get the ball out early, a la Andy Dalton.
Last week you said success was maybe a little bit too much too soon. Is this kind of this bad season? Are you still on the right track with this, or is it a?
We beat Montana. We end 5-6. We end with a much deal. So one play boiled down to how we finished. We did a good job of not imploding. I wouldn't read a lot into it. Where we were bad last year was on defense in the back end. We didn't fix it. I mean, if you go back and look at our numbers last year defensively, our numbers this year are way better defensively. This year, way better defensively. We just had that phenomenal opportunity last year to be exceptional because we had a fourth-year, 23-year-old quarterback. I mean, and that's why we went to Philadelphia for the Walter Payton Award, because he was that good. But how did he get to be that good? Gray shirt out of high school, played 1 year of junior college football, came here and played, sat, started, played. That's a lot of years of experience at quarterback, and that's why you get when you get an experienced quarterback. So our numbers are almost exactly identical to our numbers in 13 that we had in 15 on both sides of the ball. And so we had an exceptional year last year. There was also, what else didn't we do last year? We played Utah State when they had lost, when Chucky got hurt. So we didn't get beat 80-8. And we played 12 games, so our numbers are better against Chevron State instead of 11 games this year against a winless Black Hill State, which a game turns out to be worth nothing. So in a lot of ways, what happened to us last year, let's go back to the Portland State game. Last year, Portland State outgained us almost 2-1, but they threw 5 picks. Well, this year, Portland State didn't come in here and throw 5 picks. So a lot of things that went well for us in 2014 went average for us in 2015, and we're 2-9. We're 2-9 because our record is what we are. We're a 2-9 ball club because we couldn't win a close game here at home in the final moments of overtime. We couldn't stop anybody on second down and third down in the back end and cover one in man coverages, and we couldn't contain the quarterback. Those are age-old problems that we've got to get fixed.
It sounds like you're confident you can get back more toward the 8-4 then.
Well, I think we'll play better at quarterback next year. I think we're now a little hamstrung by injuries to Brian Finiangonofo in our offensive line. Here we start off the year already down one dude. I like where we're at in our defensive front. We've got to get our back end fixed. Until then, all bets are off. Our back end on defense doesn't get fixed. I don't know what we can do. And our schedule's daunting again. We open up with Simon Frazier and then go to Colorado and to Oregon State back to back. I mean, wow.
I forget if you said, did you say what the surgery for Brian is?
We'll schedule it sometime in January. And it's a year heal because it's ACL.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I'm going to say it anyhow. People are wondering where he's at. Brian Finiangonofo is one of the bright young talents on this team. He's going to miss all of 2016.
Like you said, the back end wasn't very good last year. This year
was maybe even worse without Tyson.
So if the quarterback play had been better this year, do you think you would have been closer to last year's record?
No, because our kick team units were going to fracture. We're worse. In fact, all those seniors that we lost last year on our kick teams took everything out of our kick game. I mean, we kicked off this year 23 times. The opposing team got the ball in the plus 35 range. Might as well just kick it out of bounds every time. 23 times. So we're playing arena ball on defense, and a defense that is hampered by not being very athletic in the back end. And we're not great at corner, we're not great at safety, we're devoid of safety play. And in fact, I'll go back to safety play overall at Idaho State University. We've had a lot of kids play and a lot of guys try to play and be good, but our safety play, nobody's talking about any of our safeties as being all conference candidates. And that is the issue for us at Idaho State. When I was at Eastern Washington, when we got great safety play, we won. The same thing at Montana State. We got great safety play, we won games. And until we get great safety play here, we are stuck, and we are way stuck. And for us, how do you find safeties? Well, a lot of it at this level is luck. All my great safeties, the safeties I've had in my coaching career, have come from other positions, quarterback primarily. So literally speaking, we've got to go into all the high schools and find who plays quarterback for you and does he want to play safety, because that's where our safeties are going to come from.
Do you think this season hurts you recruiting-wise, coming off a good year last year, down this year? Does it hurt recruiting-wise?
No, it doesn't hurt us at all recruiting-wise, because we're able to go in and say, look at our APR. Isn't going to college, getting a college degree what we're trying to get anyhow? Most of the guys that we recruit are not impressed by jersey selection, helmets availability. They're impressed, their parents are impressed by how we are academically and how we are socially. Because most of those guys are above a 3-point grade point average. We'll maintain that. Our APR last year was 971, and that means that we cut some guys. And we got, at this level, most guys, it's a 50-50 deal in recruiting whether a guy's going to be a player or not. So you have to make changes as soon as you know a guy doesn't have a promising career. You have to remove them from your program, which hurts your overall APR. Which means the guys that stay in your program have got to be perfect. And we've been almost perfect here academically over the last 3 years, and from 1,000 to 980 to 971, back up to 980. I love what we're doing academically and socially. On field, we're playing as hard as we can. We like each other as a team. We're pretty good on offense. We turn the ball over too much this year. And defensively, we're good against the run in the front seven. Where we are empty in performance is on the outside of corner and in the back end of safety. And that's an issue that's going to haunt us until we just do a better job of recruiting and do a better job of coaching.
John Raheem, Peoples didn't play very much the whole year. Was that more of a fatigue issue or something else?
Familiarity with college. It's his first college football. The only other college football he played before was on scout team at BYU, and that's not much of a prep for a college career. And then he lost a year just by sitting out, trying to get himself organized. And so he'll be a featured guy for us. He got some big shoes to fill. Tyler Cooter done in our program, but John Raheem should be the featured tackle in the interior part of our defense along with Trevin Alloy. And there's Chris Edwards also inside there. But Trevin Alloy and Robert Schwenke and Nico Taylor should be eligible as a senior. I mean, his unavailability was, one of those three guys that we lost. Three defensive starters that I thought were frontline players. Mario Jenkins, Tyson Manu, and Nico Taylor, whom you've not ever seen play yet. But I know can be a great player because he played all season long in scout team for me, and I know he's a pretty dominant player.
Any other under-the-radar players who you think will be contributors next year?
Kyle Jones probably going to play a lot now at center to replace Christian Dean, who was a 3-year starter for us. Kyle's from Caldwell, Valley View, and he served a mission and came back, and he played center for us a year ago and then redshirted this year and has 3 years of starting ability left. He has a chance to be a really, really fine player for us in the front. Outside at receiver, Matt Peterson joins our program as a graduate last year from Blackfoot. He'll be with us in the spring, and that should be fun to see. And then on defense, there's a couple young defensive linemen I think are going to be outstanding players for us. Mason Jackson from the Tri-Cities is an outstanding defensive end. Has his chance to Tragey. Both those guys got redshirted, along with Daniel Heck in our defensive line. And linebacker Cody Graves will be a frontline player for us right away, and probably should have played a little bit more this season.
There was expectations from the media and the fans that you guys were going to live up to what you did last year. Do you think the players bought into that a little bit?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them. That's a good question. I don't want to suppose that I know what those guys are thinking. Really, I don't. The one thing I loved about our team, though, is that pretty easy to fracture. You lose to Portland State at home, and the next time, what was disappointing for us was to come down the ramp after we'd beaten Black Hill State 55-0 and look at only 7,000 fans. That was disappointing to us, and it took a little wind out of our sails in the Portland State game. So what our fans, alumni, student body have come to expect is dismal failure. We've got 15 years of history to prove it, and we have. And so we didn't want to have a setback. We thought all season long we could have a step forward. In the Montana game, we made that step, just couldn't complete the task. And if we lost confidence or game fighting ability, we lost it on the miasma of a bad last play. And it took us out of the Montana State and the Weber State game. So it would have felt a lot better had we kicked that field goal and won the game. Now we play Montana State, a team that's a little wounded, at home, in front of a bigger crowd, and then go to Weber and give ourselves a chance to win with a quarterback who really, had he stayed healthy, I think we would have won on Saturday. But we didn't, because he got whacked. And so that's the way that goes. 2-9 is 2-9. You are what your record is, and I don't shy away from it.
You go back to Portland State a lot in that kickoff return for the touchdown. Did you think the season would have changed when you beat North Dakota?
No, because we were still gluing ourselves together in kick teams. In fact, let's go back to Weber State. We had a walk-on linebacker try to hurdle the shield. And the first thing I told the whole kick teams in August was, you can't hurdle the shield. And then they ran a fake punt, and it wasn't a fake punt. Just our defensive end got outflanked, and so what happened to us in Portland State, the kickoff return, just became the exclamation point for what 215 is going to represent for forever. It'll never go away.
When the fans in Portland State, they were booing you guys for not returning, punts and
how
things.
about that?
Did that also have an effect, kind of going forward?
Had an impact on me.
How so?
If you're an educated fan, you know what we're trying to do here. And what we're trying to do here is stay healthy enough to be able to get to the season. And punt return has never really been a big part of what we're trying to do here. What we're trying to do is be great on offense. And the guys who are catching punts for us are kick returners. And he's one of the best players on our team, Hagan. And when Hagan Graves got booed by our own fans, that was a low blow. Our fans responded, and they didn't do it again. And I thank God that they understood what's going on here. Because we're about academics, we're about social responsibility, we're about game day performance. And I'm not going to answer to the whim of a crowd. It still bugs me, obviously.
Anything else?
I have a question about Xavier Finney.
Yes. I'm good. This is my last one for the year, so I'll go for it.
Is he the best or one of the best running backs to ever play at Iowa State?
No, he's not. He's literally the best person that's ever played football here. Literally. He's a team chaplain as a sophomore. As an 18-year-old sophomore, he was a team chaplain. He's literally the best person that's ever played football here. And I'll rank him against anybody. And there have been some great people that have played football here. He's literally the best person that's ever played football at this university. And I will stand on the table and argue vociferously, vehemently, and all those V words forever, because he's literally the best person that's ever played running back or any position here. Just literally, he is. He joins a core of all-time great Bengals forever. He's got numbers to prove it, but also just off the field, just a gem, you know.
What did he do on the field that you liked the most?
He never took a false step. He never took a play off. He never danced out of bounds. He always attacked he always tried to punish the tackler. He didn't have blazing speed, but he got the most out of his ability on every single rep for 4 seasons, which is the basic thing we ask every single player in our team, whether they're a kicker, a punter, a trainer, equipment guy. Give us your best all the time. And he, more so than maybe me or any of my coaches or any player in this program over the last 4 years, has given everything he's got on every single play, every single day, all the time, which puts him in a category outside of football. What
are your expectations for next season?
I won't have any idea until I figure out how we manpower our back end on defense. That's a whole issue. We must grow and mature in safety, or we're stuck. We're just a high-flying offense that turns the ball over with a defense that can't hold the fort and a kicking game that's shattered.
Do you feel good about the offense, though?
I feel real good about the offense. We've been good on offense here since 11. We're in the same stuff, doing the same things. We're not stuck in the mud. We're not a four-wheel drive team. We're a team that throws the ball. We threw too many picks this year. We got that fixed over the course of the last couple of games. We got to get more rack, run after the catch, and our wideouts, which we got last year, which we didn't get as much this year. And we missed about 1,200 yards of offense from our receiving corps, not making great run after the catch, other than Kyle Williams, who also returns as one of those Xavier Finney type of personalities in our offense. But yeah, until we get fixed in the back end, if we're fixing the back end of our defense, that means our kick teams are better because we've got quality, width, and depth in our kick game, and now we can cover kicks. I know our kicking game is going to be better because our kicker, punter core is all now fixed because Tommy will be ready in the spring, and Sean's already here, and Zach has to just worry about placements. And we won't talk about punt returns. Come on, it's the last time. Keep coming.
What are you going to do now?
Enjoy the week. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody and to all you guys and to all of our fans and all the players and their families. Enjoy Thanksgiving, and we are headlong into recruiting. 23 slots available, 23 recruits. Need 5 offensive linemen. The injury to Finian Ganofo has really altered our recruiting, has really had a big impact on us. We need to recruit 6 defensive backs, 3 safeties, and 3 corners. And we need to continue to develop ourselves at wide receiver. We have 3 full scholarships available at wide receiver. We have 3 offers out in state. We have 1 commitment already from an offensive lineman in state. We feel good about that, but we got a lot of work to do. And at running back, we got to make sure we find ourselves, because losing Xavier Finney and just having Ja'Cory Ford back as a proven performer, wow, that'll put a lump in your throat.
I know you guys have offered to some kids here in Eastern Idaho. How important is that for
All
you?
of it. I would only love to recruit in Pocatello if I could. If I had to go out of state or out of the area to recruit, I'd go to Blackfoot and call it good. But we do. We recruit in concentric circles from Holt Arena. And I would like to see us eventually have all of our players, just from Eastern Idaho, let alone Southern Idaho, let alone the state of Idaho, let alone the Pacific Intermountain North, let alone the Seattle area, not have to go get on an airplane. We're making good inroads in Salt Lake City, which is a booming community, booming area population-wise and football player-wise. Yet we also have a heavy presence in Southern California and in the San Diego area. And those are the areas that we recruit from. But primarily, golly, we'd love to keep them all from Eastern Idaho.
Okay. Thoughts on the Big Sky this year?
It was great to see 3 teams not really thought of by the expert media and the expert coaches win the conference, be at the top, and be in the playoffs. It's cool. It's really, 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 really cool. It's sad to see Montana State made a coaching staff change today. That's always sad to see, but it's great. The conference is varied. It's geographically spread to hell and gone. Yet there's some really cool performers this year that are going to be back next year in all facets and in all areas. And a great challenge for us to go on the road to Missoula, to Cheney, to Portland, and to Flagstaff, in addition to 2 Boulder and 2 Corvallis. What a daunting task for an Idaho State football team that everybody's going to look at going into 16 and go, check. Well, that's what everybody did to Portland State, and look where they stand, or Southern Utah, look where they stand, and hopefully we can replicate what those guys have been able to do.
There was no big dominant team in the Big Sky this year. Everyone kind of beat each other up. Is that good or bad for the conference?
Well, first of all, one of the issues with us in postseason play is the fact that we don't play defense in this conference. And we proved it again this year. Nobody was really dominant on defense. Not every down, run stopping. Weber State led the conference in defense and finished 6-5. That's still not good enough defensively to win national championships. If we're able to win a national championship out of the Big Sky, it's because your offense is so high flying, Bo Levi comes to mind, that you're able to win a national championship. The combination of